Wednesday, hump day, Crimson Tide trying to bounce back against Mississippi State this weekend, homecoming, and trying to run the table in the SEC West to that SEC Championship and College Football Playoff. But you're rocking and rolling right here. Hottest show on the streets, bringing you the Bama football news, notes, information, and entertainment. That being in my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Happy, excited, pumped up, thrilled to have each and every last one of you checking out the show here on the day. We're bringing you the show from the magic city of Birmingham, streaming the show to you on YouTube. Speaking of the channel, right now, go ahead on, hit that subscribe button right now. Appreciate all of you subscribing. Smash that subscribe button. Make this your show, your network platform, channel, space to talk Crimson Tide football. Also, leave a like on the show. Hit that like button. Appreciate all that you do as the Crimson Tide family helping us out here on the show. We also have a goal, a daily super chat goal of $75. All donations greatly appreciated. But also, if donating's not your thing, continue to leave a like there on the show, supporting us right here on the platform. Let's get this show right now up to 50 likes. Right now, let's get this show up right here as we're bringing you all things Crimson Tide football. Be sure to turn on all those little notifications right there. Hit that bell so that way you miss absolutely nothing on your Crimson Tide. We got a hot one today. We got a great one today right here. You can also check out the show on Facebook and Twitter as well. But, John, we got a lot of things to discuss, a lot of things to talk about, and we want to hear from you, the Alabama football fan base. You can do this by calling 205-448-1358. That's the number to call in to let your voice be made known on the show. 205-448-1358. And one more time, 205-448-1358. Want to hear from you. Do not let the night go by without letting your voice, your opinions, your thoughts be made known here on the show. But we're going to drop into here topic number one of the conversation. That is, John, for the Alabama faithful out there, is it finally the time where the most explosive, electric transfer receiver makes his debut for Alabama football? People have been crying out, where's Tyler Harrell? Is he an urban legend? Is he a myth? Was this real? Did Alabama really land a guy from the transfer portal from Louisville that's got all of his speed, all of this explosiveness, all of this acceleration, separating from defensive backs and big playability? Did Alabama really land this guy? Where is he? I've not seen him yet. Did Alabama really get this guy? Yes, Alabama did get Tyler Harrell from the transfer portal. He's not a myth, not an urban legend, actual player here. Harrell dealt with a foot injury during the preseason, so did not play the first 5 or 6 games here, or 6 or 7 games here of the season. However, the last few weeks, he has been involved in practices for the Crimson Tide. But Coach Saban revealed some big news today on Harrell in the SEC coaches teleconference, where he said, Harrell could have gone last week. He was available last week against Tennessee. And while he did not play in that matchup, I can only equate this to, remember week 1 against Utah State where Cameron Latu didn't play? Latu was available. Latu could have went, but Coach Saban decided to hold him back just due to, he felt like, we really don't need you out here right now. You're coming off a knee injury yourself. You didn't participate much in fall camp, so you're back, now healthy. We don't have to really play you against Utah State. We can play you against Texas. Kind of the same thing here with Tyler Harrell. He was available for Tennessee. Alabama didn't necessarily have to go to him. Could have went to him, but didn't necessarily want to go to him at that time. But now, according to Coach Saban, he's comfortable in practice, confident in practice, getting more and more reps, getting more and more opportunities. He is right there. And according to people that I've spoke with within the program when it comes to Tyler Harrell, he has looked fantastic in practice the last 2 days. And it's not just him in practice, it's him actually being implemented in the game plan. They've got Harrell in schemes, in strategy, in formation, in lineups. They've got Harrell out here in this offense. He's running within this first team offense, whether it's a package, whether it's a formation, whether it's a scheme. They're working in Tyler Harrell. They've got Tyler Harrell worked into the game plan. And this is the first time that I've heard this all season. I've been hearing, he's been practicing, he's been running routes, he's been out there, he's been getting comfortable. But now, what I'm hearing, Steven, he is actually in preparation. He's actually been implemented in the game plan. He's actually been implemented in the strategy, in the scheme, in the routine. He's actually been implemented into, getting on the field and being a part of this offense. So that's huge there for Alabama, especially for a young man that Harrell's got the speed that can take the top off of opposing defenses and burn guys up and down the field. We're talking about somebody of whom of the 18 catches he had at Louisville last year, 6 went for touchdowns and averaged 29.1 yards per reception. But what this also entails is, with the incident going on with Jermaine Burton, and we've seen the video out there on social media where, Tennessee storms the field and there's a Tennessee fan on the field, and the alleged shove, push situation there with Jermaine Burton and the fan right there. Of course, Coach Saban, he put out a statement today saying that Alabama is gathering the information, gathering the details about it, and they will make their move based on the information that is being picked up and gathered up there. But with this happening, if Burton is suspended, not saying he will be, but based on the information being gathered, if it were to go to a suspension, what an opportunity this becomes for Tyler Harrell to step into a moment, to step into a shot, to step into a chance to give this Alabama offense a jolt, a bolt of lightning, a fresh breath of energy, if you will, at the wide receiver position, because this group has been inconsistent up and down all year. They have not been able to get off press coverage. They haven't been able to get off press man. They haven't been able to create separation away from DBs. And we have not seen that one guy that shows Bryce Young, you can come to me regardless of what the situation is. We have not seen that. So if it is a situation where Burton suspended, what have you, here's a moment for Tyler Harrell to get himself in there, get himself on the field, and be that guy, be that speedster that Alabama needs to take the top off of defensive secondaries moving forward here in the season. But just the news there on one Tyler Harrell, Coach Saban updating him in the SEC coaches teleconference. It looks like now, we can see Harrell out here on the field based on what Saban said today and based on the information I gathered on the young man now being implemented here in schemes and strategies, in formations here during the last 2 days of practice here for the Crimson Tide. We're going to go to our first break, folks, on the show. Don't touch that dial. Just getting started. When we get back, we go on the phone lines. We grab your calls, your thoughts, your conversations. Light us up with how you feel right after this.
You're watching In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith, brought to you by We Own the Fourth Quarter. Get your 4-finger bling necklace today by visiting weownthefourthquarter.com. Throw them foes up.
9 players have teamed up and released the Alabama Team Paper, which is a video yearbook they've put out for sale direct to fans. Now, for the first time, small dollar purchases from the fans can support the players as a group as well as a great cause, because $1 of every subscription payment is donated to the Boys and Girls Club of America. Be a 5-star fan base and support your team and a great cause with Team Paper. Check it out at teampaper.com/Alabama.
Remember the taste of Grandma's delicious sweets? Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes brings back those precious memories with just one bite. Each cake made from scratch. They make the perfect dessert to share with family and friends for any occasion, and ordering is easy. Visit Emily'sHeirloomPoundCakes.com. Click the online store and shop. Then pick up your fresh cake at the kitchen in downtown Homewood. Order yours online at Emily'sHeirloomPoundCakes.com. Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes, making memories from scratch.
All right, baby, we're back rocking and rolling in here to the action from the break on a Wednesday. Hottest show on the streets, giving you your Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. Ladies and gentlemen, be sure to give us that thumbs up, hit the like button, give us that thumbs up, the likes here on the show. Appreciate the support there from all of you. Right now, at 40 likes right now, trying to get this thing up to 50, so continue to hit that like button. Also, we have that daily super chat goal of $75. If you liking the show, if you appreciating the content, all donations appreciated, all donations welcome. Appreciate all of you for making this your show, network, platform, channel to talk Bama. Now, if donation not your thing there, then hit that like button. Appreciate the love coming from you. But we got a couple of super chats to get to right now. So how about Randy Harris with that $10 donation, dropping that in there right there. Appreciate Randy Harris. And then we got Eric Beasley with a $5 donation, showing love there. Thanks to Randy Harris and Eric Beasley. Now, Randy had a good question. His thought was, what's going on with Alabama's bump and run coverage here? Guys are getting this 5 and 10 yard cushions out here. What's going on with the bump and run coverage? That's a question, Randy, that a lot of us are asking ourselves, because in years past, that was Nick Saban's bread and butter. Bump and run. Bump him, run with him, stay in phase, stay in pocket. And when the receiver is looking at the ball, get your head turned at the right time to play the ball. We're seeing a lot more of this. DBs not getting their heads turned in time. They're looking straight at the receiver and not the ball. They're reaching, grabbing, and that's where you're getting the pass interference and the defensive holding. So that bump and run, got to get back to it where you bump him, run with him. But when you see that receiver's eyes get big as the moon, look for the football. You got to look for the football. So, good question there coming in from Randy Harris right there. Aaron McGuire with that $2 donation, dropping it in there. Appreciate Aaron McGuire showing up the show. But right now, we go to the phone lines to grab your calls. Call segment brought to you by the Blue Ridge Gang, 205-448-1358, the number right there. We take this call. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Well, Stephen, this old president up here in Jasper, Alabama, calling in on Wednesday evening. I hope everything's going good in Birmingham. How you doing tonight down there? Give me some good words here.
Doing good, Waylon. Doing good. It looks like, finally, after all the screaming of where's Tyler Harrell, heard from Coach Saban today, heard from a few people that I've spoken with within the program. This is that he's finally being implemented in schemes, in formation, and strategies. He's being implemented in the offensive game plan for Mississippi State. So it looks like now, it's about time, but now we see Tyler Harrell.
Well, yeah, I guess so. I mean, is he a myth or has he been in the transfer portal spinning around? You and I usually don't have too many discussions, but I want to ask you a question. Have you really thought about what has really happened to Road Alabama? Have you ever heard that phrase, Road Alabama? Can you elaborate on that a little bit for me?
You said Road Alabama or Road Alabama?
We used to call them Road Alabama. Have you ever heard that? You ever heard that saying people call Road Alabama? You know how mean Alabama used to be when they'd go in the stadium.
Oh yeah. I mean that's the big thing, Wayne. It's that mentality that this program's got to get back to. Because I remember when Bama would go on the road, whether they stepped off the plane or off the bus, the opposition was mentally defeated because they knew we're not going to hang with this team. And not just the opposition, the opposing head coach was mentally not there. The opposing offensive and defensive coordinators were mentally defeated because they did not know how to take this team when this team got off the bus and off the plane back then in the early years of Nick Saban, and even before Coach Saban got here. So that's a mindset that this program has got to get back to. We're not – this team is not mentally defeating people on the road as it used to.
Yeah, you said it just as you said it better than I could. But Road Alabama used to be, these opposing teams would come into the stadium, they'd see these white uniforms, and they just knew they were supposed to get the soul jerked out of their body. And now I see a lot of dumb-headed penalties and mistakes and goofy plays, and I just don't. I don't really understand what's going on. But when you travel, and I know what's not in these stadiums when Alabama travels, and that's not Bryant-Denny Stadium. Seems like Alabama's way more comfortable playing at the house Bryant built than they do on the road anymore. And when you go to these other opposing team stadiums, that's not Bryant-Denny Stadium anymore. Somehow you've got to get the swag back. You've got to get that mentality back. You've got to get those teams scared to death of you. It's sort of like last year and a couple of years ago, we saw the lady. She was waiting on to see who Notre Dame was going to have to play, and she saw it was Alabama. They just covered their hands over their face. I don't think Alabama's that way anymore. I don't know. They've lost it within 1 year. I don't see how you can really go downhill that far in 1 year, but I don't know. It's still Alabama. Remember that, everybody. This is still Alabama football. It's the best football in the country. It's always been the best football in the country, and we've got to support these guys. It's hard. I know it is. Tough loss Saturday. It was tough on us old guys, been watching football for 40, 50 years, to see to win, to lose by 3 points against Tennessee. But Mississippi State's up next. We got to take care of business. And the Blue Ridge gang, y'all looking good. I don't know, y'all. The donations, the calls, y'all make this the hottest show on the street. I love all y'all. Y'all be safe. Maybe we'll be back on Friday. Let's get a win here on Saturday. Dominate Mississippi State, and let's win out. And like Nick said, these goals are still in front of Alabama. We just need to reach out there and grab them and do what needs to be done and go to the SEC championship, beat Georgia, Tennessee, and make a statement. I love all y'all. Y'all be safe. I'll see y'all Friday. Bye-bye, everyone.
Appreciate the president weighing and calling in. Simple as that. Take care of Mississippi State. Win out the rest of your regular season schedule. Get to Atlanta. Take on Georgia or rematch Tennessee. Get yourself in the college football playoff. But it starts this week rectifying all the details there. We grab this call. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feel? And state your name and where you calling from.
Hey, Steven. This is Michael from Columbus, South Carolina. How you doing?
Doing good, Michael, and yourself?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing okay, Michael. It looks like we'll finally get to see old Tyler Harrell. Had some good things from Saban about him today, and how he's been now fully implemented into the scheme, the strategy, the formation, the game plan for Mississippi State. So after, weeks of saying, where is this Tyler Harrell guy at? Is he a myth? Well, where is he? This week, we can finally say, okay, there he is.
Yeah, Steven, it's been a while. It's been a long time coming, waiting for Tyler Harrell to come back. But, I want to test your idea on this. After looking at the wide receivers we have in the team and seeing how they played, I do believe that at some point, Isaiah Bond should start. Now, I know that Jermaine Burton and Trayshawn Holden and Jacoby Brooks, they're good, and you want them to start. But to me, I wonder how you feel about this. The way I see it for the starting receivers, I put it like this: Jacoby Brooks 1, Bond 2, put Kobe Prentice in the slot, have Burton and Holden play the back. How you feel about that, Steven?
You know what, Michael? I like that, and I'll say this: Burton and Holden have been wildly inconsistent all year. They have not consistently shown up, make plays, make catches when you need them to. So I look at definitely Isaiah Bond starting in there, Jacoby Brooks starting in there, Kobe Prentice at times looks like the best receiver out there, so definitely him. I mean, JoJo Earl out there, Christian Leary out there. I mean, get guys out there that are going to make these types of plays, because Holden and Burton have not been making the plays.
Exactly, and that's what I've been saying. Like I said, we need these wide receivers to step up. I said it last week before getting ready for the Tennessee game that we need Burton and Holden to step up, and they just have not stepped up. And so, seeing Isaiah Bond when he did in the game and seeing what Kobe Prentice did, I'm just like, you know what? Instead of having Burton and Trayshawn Holden start, it should be. If I had it my way, I'd definitely have Bond and Prentice at the starting two wide receivers and put Brooks at somewhere in the slot somewhere. But then you go on the offensive line, Stephen. We finally was able to see Tyler Booker at right guard. Was that something that Coach Saban had already came up in his mind that he was going to start? Start instead of having Emiri Kiyor play.
Well, Saban had said all season that he looked at Tyler Booker as a co-starter anyway. He looked at Tyler Booker as either a right guard or a left guard. He had him right there in the conversation with Ekiyor and Javion Cohen, and he sees the physicality that Booker plays with, the aggressiveness Booker plays with. So it didn't shock me at all. I mean, from the jump, Saban said, this is a guy that we're looking at as a potential starter.
And then lastly, Stephen, looking at the schedule for Alabama, I believe we'll get past this match with Mississippi State. I believe we'll beat them. To me, it doesn't matter what the score is. I just think that we'll beat them. This is definitely a comeback. And when you look at all the we've had these kind of seasons before we've lost a game, and we came back and won the SEC title. We came and won the national championship. So I'm not worried about Alabama in particular. I mean, I am a little worried about the again, with Bryce Young, need weapons to throw the ball to. And again, like I said, if Holden and Burton can't do it, it's time for these other guys to step up. And then on defense, explain to me this, Stephen. What in the world happened to Will Anderson against Tennessee?
Got neutralized, man. Got shut down. And that's one right there where it's a big game. It's the biggest game of the year to this point. You got to have a big performance from Will Anderson. You didn't get it. Brother got shut down. Appreciate Michael from South Carolina calling in there. Got to shout out Kellen Parker with that $9.99 in the Super Chats. Appreciate Kellen Parker. We take this call. You're live on the show. It's happening. How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Charles from Birmingham. How you doing?
Doing good, man, and yourself?
Good, man. I had three things I wanted to touch on to you about. I've been listening to your show for like 4-5 months now. I really like what you do, man. But
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I wanted to start with that defense, man. I just feel like me growing up as a football guy and being an Alabama fan since I was 5, them linebackers are too soft. They're some arm tacklers, especially Tua. Like, I like him. He get the defense plays right, but he's an arm tackler. He's not no hitter. Like, they need Jalen Moody and Deontay Lawson need to be the starters, in my opinion, at their linebacker position. And it's about time we just give Eli Ricks a chance on that other corner. My boy Kool-Aid locked down his spot. He's locked down. But we need to solidify the other corner. What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, the first one, it's time for Moody and Lawson. I mean, Henry T, I get it, bring him up from the transfer portal, but Jalen Moody, you recruited him. He's been submerged throughout his whole life in the Alabama football culture. He's been here 5 years. So it's Moody and Lawson time. When Moody's been out there, Moody hit. Moody come downhill. Moody take your cap off, put Moody right there, have Lawson run with Moody, and have Kendrick Blackshire right there on deck too as well. As far as the defensive secondary, I like Eli Ricks as the other corner. I know Terrion Arnold's growing, redshirt freshman, but Eli Ricks, you got the man for a reason. You can't just sit there and have that man ride the bench. You got that man for a reason. Now, what I also like to see, take DeMarco Helms off strong safety. He's not a coverage guy. Take him off of free safety. Put him more so in the box as a dime linebacker. Now, if you want to have Terrion Arnold play safety or Brian Branch play safety with Jordan Battle, hey, that's cool. That's fine. If you want to have and then put Malachi Moore back at star where he was his freshman year, that's fine. But DeMarco Hellams does not need to be out there covering folks. He is not a coverage safety.
No, he's not a coverage safety at all. He got beat repeatedly on Saturday, and it was hard to watch. Like the secondary get burnt like that, and especially those safeties. Like, and Will Anderson, he was neutralized, but hey, as I was looking at it, he was getting double team, triple team the whole game. Like Pete Golden ain't sending no rushers. He just sending 3-4 folks. Of course, they're gonna be able to double team Will Anderson. He got to build that pressure up.
My thing about all of that was, why was Chris Braswell and Dallas Turner dropping back in coverage? You got to send those guys and let those guys eat. Why do you have your other two guys of the cheetah package, they're dropping back in coverage, they're not hunting the quarterback?
Right. Yeah, that made no sense to me. And I also wanted to touch on the offensive play calling. Like, yes, our receivers are not stepping up, making plays like the receivers that we expected, Jermaine Burton, Trayshawn Holden. But Bryce Young still throwing 300 yards. It's not so much of the receivers, it's the play calling. Like, we got 30 seconds left. We got the ball on the 30. Why do we throw the ball 3 straight times instead of running the ball and making Tennessee use their timeouts? That made no sense.
Poor clock management, man. Poor clock management. Appreciate Charles from Birmingham calling in right there. We take this call. Hear you live on the show. It's happening. How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, my name is David. I'm actually from California, but I just recently moved to Tampa, Florida. A first-time caller. Been watching you for... Yeah, half my family is from Mobile, Alabama, so I've been a Tide fan since, the 80s, I would say. So my question is, what is it going to take for Alabama to get back in the top 4?
What's it going to take for Alabama to get back in the top 4? Well, David, win out the rest of the regular season schedule. Win that out. Win the SEC championship, because one of the teams or a couple of teams above you, somebody's going to lose above you. We all know this. Somebody above you is going to lose, and maybe a couple of teams above you are going to lose, because as the games get challenging, as the games get tougher, as the lights get brighter, somebody's going to tumble. So for Alabama, it's win out the rest of the regular season, get to the SEC championship, win that, and somebody above you is going to lose.
So I just want to finish the call. I'll call back in another day. But I used to work in downtown Mobile in the 90s at the Aramark Hotel, which is like where the Senior Bowl, everybody from the Senior Bowl stayed. And I worked the Senior Bowl in 1994 with Kevin Lee and Roosevelt Patterson. And Don Shula was the coach at the time. I have some amazing stories to tell you about that time, but I'll save that for another event.
David, man, we appreciate it, man. David from Florida calling in, giving his thoughts on the show. We grabbed this call. You're live on the show. What's going on? State your name. Where you calling from?
Hello, Stephen. This is Curtis Higgins from Mississippi.
Curtis, what's happening?
Man, that ball game Saturday, man, I'm still sick.
A lot of people are, Curtis. A lot of people are.
Man, they run the same play time and stacked on receiving, man, that run by, just run by. And I don't know why Nick Saban didn't make no changes himself. He sees that. You looking at that. I don't know why he didn't make no change. It's all I've been hearing on TV. Saban is getting high coach. Everybody high coaching Saban so far this year. Can you understand? I don't know why he didn't get in Pete Golden's face and tell him, man, what are you doing?
That's right. I mean, Curtis, that's what that loyalty is. And it's, when you see something's not right, go fix that. Go fix that. And we're used to seeing Saban live on TV, whether it was getting at Pete Golden, whether it was getting at Lane Kiffin, whether it was getting at Jeremy Pruitt. He would get at you if something went right.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you know, you just running the same play over and over again on you. Just killing them, man. Bryce, I had to get it to the kid. The kid played his heart out. Jameer Gibb, they played their heart out. I mean, Jermaine Burke, we really didn't need him. We got a good receiver. You got to put him in there and let him play. He ain't playing him. Jay wasn't in there. He wasn't in there. I mean, all you got players to play. Why you don't play him? All right, that corner that he got from LSU in the transfer portal. What are you holding him for? That's what you got him for, to put in there a lockdown corner. That's what you got him for. I can't understand. I want your opinion on that.
I mean, that's something that I'm looking at too, Curtis. Like, why, if you go out there and you get an Eli Ricks, why are you not playing somebody with the experience he has? Coming from LSU, he's got 14 to 16 games of experience. Why is he not playing? When you got guys like Isaiah Bond, Kendrick Law, Shaz Preston, Christian Leary, why are these guys not playing? You recruited these guys as freshmen. All they know coming in here as freshmen is Alabama football. Why are these guys out on the field? Jalen Moody's been in this program for 5 years. Why is he not getting that respect, his just due, when he's given you 5 years of blood, sweat, and tears? I don't understand it either. Appreciate Curtis, though, from Mississippi for that call. We take this call. Here you're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
This is Tobias out of Phoenix, Arizona, by way of Montgomery, Alabama. How's it going?
Doing great, Tobias, and yourself?
Man, I'm doing better. Hopefully, though, one thing I watch in the game, right, it's not the fact they lost. It's how they lost that hurts a lot of fans and upset a lot of people. Sometimes it ain't your night. And I know that last drive, I wasn't even mad at that one because at the end of the day, you still shouldn't let them drive that quickly in 15 seconds anyway.
Yeah.
But the problem is that I think they need someone who's a butthole in the middle of that defense, like on a defensive tackle. They need thumpers because the defense takes the role of their middle linebacker. Someone needs to send a message. And I just think that who is the vocal guy who's going to cuss these guys out, hold them accountable if they mess up? But I do think with receiver, it's over. Trayshawn Holden's big, but he's scared and he's soft over the middle. He can't sit him down. Jermaine Burton, I think he's a Georgia plant. Sit him down. Put these young boys in who's hungry, who will catch the ball. That's been my thing. You play it looked like our corners are most of like they actually safeties masquerade as corners. I don't care if the guy on the bench is a true freshman. He can't do any worse. Put him in. I think he has to shake things up. And as the Joker said, you can't make an omelet without cracking some eggs. And Saban's gonna have to shake this lineup up.
He's going to have to, man. He's going to have to shake it up at receiver. He's going to have to shake it up at linebacker. He's going to have to shake it up in the secondary. He's going to have to shake it up on the defensive line, too. Appreciate absolutely. Go ahead.
Bill O'Brien, when you watch Tennessee, Texas, some of these other teams, look how easy they make the offense for their quarterback. Bryce Young is pulling teeth every time he goes under center. It makes it so hard. There's no creativity, no screen passes to the running back, no trick plays, no misdirection. He makes it so hard. That's where the criticism of Bill O'Brien comes in. Thanks for taking my call, Steven. Steven, you have a good one.
Appreciate Tobias calling in there out of Phoenix, Arizona right there. We take this call here. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, Steven. This is Fishi calling from Atlanta.
How we doing?
Hey, I'm good. I know it's been a while. I had to check in and show some love. How are you?
I cannot complain. I know some people feel like the sky is falling after the loss to Tennessee, but I woke up the next morning like, I'm alive. I'm good.
Right, exactly. Honestly, so I have a few things, a few pointers, and I know it's going to be a little different from what we're hearing other people say. So I guess to start, now when we talk about leadership, Coach Saban, we set the standard. Bama set the standard. So the way Kirby Smart is like prancing around in Athens and these different coaches, we set that standard that we're seeing other teams play up to. So it's kind of like we lost it somewhere down the road. And so I think the game against Tennessee, it really made me think about when we played LSU in 2011. I remember I was actually at that game. And I remember it was just an ordeal with the referee calling and all of that. And I remember, I think it was Michael Williams. I think he caught the ball. Yeah. And they tried to they called it an interception or something, but basically the refs weren't calling in our favor, similar to the Tennessee game. Now, we remember what happened after that, right? I don't think I need to spell it out. But long story short, we came back and we won the national championship. I think that's what happens when you get snubbed like that. It was almost an embarrassment. I also feel like that was a game when we played Tennessee where the defense should have won. I felt like the defense would have won that game. We won that game. We left a lot of money on the table. I think that Tennessee, they've been good all season long, so kudos to them. But why are we letting this same wide receiver score? How many touchdowns? 4 or 5?
5.
So that's ridiculous, right? Like, you mean to tell me that Golden is prancing around on that sideline and not one time did he consider changing the play calling? I'm like, it don't make sense. Either I'm watching the wrong game or I just don't understand football, but I've been watching it for years, so I feel like I have a pretty good understanding. And then you have Bill O'Brien up there in the box doing whatever because he ain't calling the right plays. And my issue with Coach Saban is because I think I saw he had like a interview this week and he tried to say that the players aren't entitled. Excuse me, the coaches are not entitled because the same thing that we're seeing right now is the same thing that we saw when we played Texas A&M last year. So we didn't make the proper adjustments. And my thing is like, forget loyalty. You're either loyal to the game or you're loyal to these so-called coaches who it seemed to me like they could care less if we win or lose. So we recruit all this top talent from the country. We set that standard, but we're not living up to it. Coach Saban, it starts with him. And then it starts with the actual, the OC and the defense. I mean, at some point, something has to change. We're not going to keep getting the top recruits. You know what I mean? So I just feel like, even not just the play calling, but even knowing who to play and when. So you mean to tell me we have someone like Tyler Harrell where we hyped him up all over the summer. They were talking about getting Jordan Addison. He probably would have been ready to leave if he was just sitting on that sideline up until this point. So my thing is you have Elias Rick from LSU. What are we doing? It's just to make us look good? So we're like the joke of the town. I refuse to be the joke of the town. We set the standard, so we need to live up to it. And that's how I feel. But what do you think about that in terms of the 2011 game? Because it really made me think about that this weekend.
Well, see, I agree with you on that. I mean, the 2011 game, and I was at that game too. That game was not officiated fairly. That 2011 team did feel like it got punked, and we saw what happened in the national championship game. That defense ran completely over LSU. They only crossed midfield one time. And when I look at this Alabama team, I had a conversation with Reggie Ragland just yesterday, and the conversation was those guys, they had a mentality built in that we are Bama, we're going to enforce and dominate and just take over you. We snatching your heart and your soul. You ain't taking that from us. And that mentality came from Kirby Smart and Jeremy Pruitt, who coached with their hair on fire. And the special thing about those two coaches was they didn't give you a whole bunch of plays. Kirby and Pruitt gave you 2 plays and said, go run around, knock somebody's head off, and have fun.
Exactly, and that's my thing. So when I'm thinking about the standard that we set, especially in terms of defense, I'm thinking about the Marlon Humphreys. I'm thinking about the Ha Clinton Dix. I'm thinking about Mark Barron, who was one of the top 6. I think he was All-American, and the list goes on. The Dre Kirkpatricks. I mean, the list literally goes on. So we set that standard, and to be quite honest, I'd be damned if somebody take that away from us. And that's just me being real. So when it comes to Coach Saban, I don't know if he watches the show or not, but he needs to maybe go back and understand what leadership truly is. It's not about being loyal to O'Brien, who has already proven that he just doesn't have what it takes. His play calling is very old school. He's very conservative. So we go and get these elite receivers, these elite running backs. You mean to tell me the only thing that I can think of, our last possession of the game when we played Tennessee, when we threw the ball 3 times, it looks similar to what we did in the Texas game. I understand if their defense is blitzing, I could see that being the reason why we're throwing the ball 3. But to me, it was horrible the whole time, the whole game. The play calling was horrible. So you have Bryce Young, who just came off of an injury. He played his heart out, but it shouldn't have come to that. It shouldn't have been, Tennessee scoring 52. Who is Tennessee? Because watch they turn around and they're going to lose a game or two. So all of those in the top 5, they're not going to be in the top 5 when it really matters. So I just want to see our team, both on the offense and defense, I want to see them be hungry, because those are the only ones that eat are the ones who are actually hungry. So we need to show up at 100%, just like Tennessee did. Every player, forget if you're a senior and, I need to make sure that I'm healthy to go to the draft. You're going to be drafted as a free agent. So get out there and ball out and do what we know. We know how to do it. We know how to win. I think that we've gotten used to it coming down to the last few seconds of the game, like when we played Auburn last year, and somehow we end up winning. But we can't rely on that, because that's not the Bama standard. The Bama standard that I know, we come out there full force. We sling it. We're the Robert Lesters. We're the Marquise Mays. Like, the list goes on. It goes on. So my thing is, get back to that standard. It starts at the top. Saban, he needs to relearn that standard, and Bill O'Brien needs to go back to where he came from. Pete Golden, his time is up, because we need to be calling Dan Mullen. I can call them if they need me to, but I'm ready to see us go back to it, because we're not an embarrassment. I refuse to accept that. So we have the talent, we have the standard, we have the play calls. We had Sarkisian. We had Lane Kiffin, you know what I mean? Just Lane Kiffin didn't know when to be quiet. But we had Jeremy Pruitt, so let's get back to the Bama standard. Otherwise, we're not going to keep getting these top recruits. Forget the NIL. The NIL isn't, to me, it's not impacting us as much as people are saying. I think it's more so the leadership. And Saban, he seems to still be confused about what to do. He sees what's happening, and he sees O'Brien sitting up there in that box looking crazy, not doing anything. Excuse me? No, we have to get back to the standard. We put too much money into this. These guys are sacrificing every day, practicing, sacrificing their summer. You're getting the top recruits, and this is what you do. Why would another top recruit, let's say in a couple years, why would they want to come to Alabama? You mean to tell me this is what I'm signing up for? So we need to get back to the basics. We need to focus on what's in front. Everyone needs to show up at 100%. It doesn't need to be, just Jahmyr Gibbs and Jason McCoy. It doesn't need to just be a few. Everyone has to give 100%, and that's how you shut everyone up. So that's all I have to say. If you have any thoughts, feel free to share it, but I think that's pretty much it from my side.
We got Cishi in here hot, ain't playing around with the number one message for Crimson Tide. Getting back to that Bama stand-up comedy. We got to put on the coaching staff, John. We got to have us speak to these players, man. That's motivation right there. We take this call here. You're live on the show. What's happening? What's going on? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, Steven, this is Kyron from Albuquerque, Kyran. I'm not even going to ask you how you doing, because I already know.
Hey, go ahead then, Kyron. Go ahead.
Yeah, man, just 2 quick things. I'm not going to really, complain about much, because, past week everybody's been saying pretty much the same things. Although I will say, now I feel really, really bad for Jalen Moody. This is a guy that was in the portal after last season. It's his 5th year. Somehow someone convinced him to stay, and he stayed. And, I kind of feel bad for how they're really doing him. Secondly, it's a trip. I was sitting back thinking, and it's like, this team could easily be 4-3 right now. When you shoot, if Quinn Ewers doesn't get injured, if Jimbo Fisher calls a different play on that last play, we'd be talking about 4-3 right now. So that's just a thought. And finally, Steven, I figured out what the problem is. It's attitude, but it hit me, and I finally realized what may be the issue with this team. The issue is you got too many guys from California. Too many guys from California. It's a different type of ball there, different attitude. Bryce Young is from California. He may be the only exception. Bryce Young's from California. Eli Ricks is from California. Henry Toes from California. Jermaine Burton's from California, man. And I just feel like it's a different attitude. It's a California ball. A lot of these guys come from them private schools in Cali that played in the high school. You know, if you know anything about California high school football, it's all the top teams are private schools. So there's a lot of transfer in and out. There's no really no team cohesiveness because it's different attitudes. Guys don't care what team they're playing on, man. So it's California, man. Too many guys from California. And, you know, I know Bama recruits everywhere, but I think it's a different mentality when you recruiting guys within the region. So, man, that's all I got to say. Too many guys from California, Steve. Thanks.
Kyron bringing a very interesting perspective to what could be the problem with this Alabama team. Appreciate Kyron for that call. We take this one right here. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Chris from Houston, Texas.
How we doing, man?
Well, so far so good. This is my first time on your show here, but I've been faithfully listening in. I mean, I just love everything that's been happening here. I just have a few points that I want to bring up. First, you remember that cast you had a while back on, you focused on the defense, and you were asking the question, who wants ball? You remember that?
Yeah.
Who wants ball? Okay, and we still have that kind of question now. You know, the mindset, the intensity that we used to have been seeing with the previous defenses in the Tide history has been take no prisoner, get that ball, and that ass mentality. And right now, we don't see any of that happening. It should be an intensity, no prisoner type mindset.
It should be.
The second thing on offense, there's total lack of creativity within offensive scheming. I mean, there should be surprises every game. Something new that the other team has not seen or not expecting. It would be pretty wild and interesting. For example, they bring out the wishbone for one play with, say, Anderson, Gibbs, Millwall in that backfield. And that'll be a total shock. They don't know if they're going to pass, run, or whatever they're going to do back there. And they should run a up-tempo type offense because Young plays best when he's up-tempo. So they should be designing those offensive schemes and plans around those threats, and they're not doing it. And then, lastly, the coaches. When a player is screwing up on the field, not doing their job, making mistake after mistake, the coaches should immediately bench them. It makes no sense, if you make one mistake, okay, maybe you can let them get away with it, but if they keep doing it, second time, third time, that's no excuse. Bench that mug and get the next man up. And then finally, Saban himself needs to be true to the standard. And I say that because if his coaches are screwing up, which both of them are, O'Brien and Pete, Saban needs to bench them. Have those mug, have someone could come off that bench, an analyst, whatever, anyone but them, to take over to get the job done. So that's all I have to say. I'd like to hear what you think about all that.
Appreciate Chris there calling in. So, just start off with the last portion there of the coordinators. Saban's got to shake some things up because this has been happening defensively. Alabama has not had that big-time defense since 2017. From 2018 to now, the defense has steadily declined from 2018 to right now. So, but defense has declined. I mean, offensively, I just look at the NBA, for example. If you watch the Golden State Warriors and how easy it is for Steph Curry, for Klay Thompson, for Jordan Poole, for those guys to get their shots, get their buckets, get their points. Why? Because the scheme of Steve Kerr makes it that easy, makes it that fluid, makes it like water, makes it that smooth, right? You look at last year of Steve Sarkisian, that season, 2020 with Steve Sarkisian, the ease that Sark had, the ease the Alabama offense had. Like, Mac Jones threw 41 touchdowns like it wasn't nothing. And he did it with ease. Why? Because Steve Sarkisian had this offense to flow with fluidity, like water. Like he made it easy for Devontae Smith, easy for Najee Harris, easy for Mac Jones, easy for John Mechie, easy for Jalen Watt. It was easy. When you look at Bryce Young with Bill O'Brien, it's hard. If you look at it, yeah, Bryce Young is putting up 300, 400 plus passing yards, but Bryce has got to actually work to do that. Having to avoid sacks and avoid getting hit and changing and rechanging and resetting protections and scrambling around for his life and having to look at the receivers like, did you not know the route? Do you not know the play yet? It's hard for Bryce. Versus Steve Sarkisian, where he made it all easy. And that's why you saw the Tuas and the Mac Joneses have that success with Sarkisian. He made it fluid. He made it fluid. We take this phone call here. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
What's going on, Steven, man? This is Mo from Atlanta, man.
Mo, what's happening, man? I'm good.
Hey, man, I'm feeling okay, man. My stress level came down a long way, but I definitely think we got to get rid of Bill O'Brien and Pete Gold. I don't understand we got to realize that Bill O'Brien is a bad play caller. Bryce Young's just that special. I mean, I think he's the best quarterback we've had at Alabama, just on the talent standpoint. I mean, the guy's amazing. I mean, he literally blows me away like every game he's played. Don't know what the hell Pete Gold is doing. I don't understand how you're going to drop or brush the passer with 3 or 4 guys every time. You want to know something, Steven? Every time we bought pressure, which was only like 3 times in that game, we got a sack, we got an interception, and then we got the Dallas Turner fumble. Sound like God was trying to tell us to do something, right? That's just me. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. But also, I'm tired of seeing Trayshawn Holden on the field and Jermaine Burton. I got to do. Well, I don't feel bad about the Burton because he's in Georgia, but I feel bad for Trayshawn Holden. But man, he can't catch the ball. I mean, so it is what it is. Not only that, I see a lot of promise in our young receivers. Everybody likes to go back to when we had the 4 horsemen. Isaiah Bond and Kobe Prentice look a lot like those guys did. And I'm pretty sure if we get Christian Leary, Joe Earl, I would like to see the Tyler Harrell guy get on the field to see what he's looking like. But, we have the talent. And Coach Saban has to hold guys accountable. And he needs to get Bill O'Brien off from that skybox, man. He needs to be able to chew his ass out. Like,
I've been saying it the whole time. If everybody else can take the butt chewing, Bill, get your butt down there.
Get your butt down here. You can take an ass chewing too, man. It's a part of the job, man. Everybody knows that when they come work for Coach Saban. Everyone knows that. I feel like Coach Saban's being a little loyal and a little too lenient towards the guy because the pieces are there. We've all seen the pieces. Like, everybody knows this team has the makeup to be a championship team, but you got to have the right pieces on the field. And I see everybody saying they feel bad for Jalen Moody. I feel bad for the guy too. For one, Henry Toa. I agree with the caller 2 callers ago about the California thing. He's a soft linebacker. He knows the plays. He knows everything. He knows the spots, and that's all fine and dandy. But that's not an Alabama thing. And I felt like the beginning of the year, Moody was not good. Moody was playing excellent. Like,
Moody was balling. That boy was balling.
He was balling. I'm like, man, this kid playing like the best defender on the team this year. And I loved it for him because obviously he's waiting his turn. But to see him not really get any snaps on Saturday was like, what's going on? I know he had the bruised lung, the kidney or whatever, but I heard he was good to go. So I'm like, why is Moody not on the field? Because Moody lays the wood. Also, we need to move DeMarco Hellams out of that safety spot. I love DeMarco Hellams, but he's a dime linebacker. It is what it is. I would like to see, maybe Arnold go over and get Ricks on the field, cover it that way. Put some speed out there. You can't just have a guy getting blown back. He got beat 4 or 5 times. Like, I don't understand what Pete Golden was thinking, and that's what makes me upset with Coach Saban, that he didn't get on to anyone about these plays. But, yeah, I mean, we got a lot of things. The penalties are driving me insane. I mean, 17 is just way too much, my man. I mean, that's way too much. Now, let me say this. I thought we earned about 13 of them. But this pass interference call that they keep calling, I don't know how you're going to play the ball if you're a corner. I'm confused at this point. I didn't think it was a pass interference on Malachi Moore. I also didn't think it was right that they threw the flag like 50 yards down the field while, Kool-Aid doing there in the end zone, pretty much like a flag miraculously comes out. I don't know. But at the end of the day, we can't put ourselves in those positions. But, I need the guys to keep playing hard. I need Will to be a better leader, because there's no reason for, guys to be talking about, we had anxiety. No, you're the leader. You make sure they're not anxious. You got to make everybody feel at ease. That's your job. You're the leader. They will follow you, because they can't follow Toa. Normally you will follow the middle linebacker. You take his personality and the defensive coordinator. But Pete Golden's too relaxed to me. When we had Kirby, Pruitt, and all those guys, very high energy guy. Cochran on the sideline, just very high energy. He's too laid back, man. I need some energy, dude. I need you to make some dogs. You can't make dogs if you're not a dog yourself.
Absolutely.
That's all I got to say, Steve. You listen to your show every day, my brother. You'll be hearing from me again, my man. Hold it down. Keep doing your thing.
Appreciate Lo from Atlanta calling in, and it's. I mean, we've been talking about it. You look at guys like Kirby and Jimmy Pruitt. They coached like some got to give, and everybody fed off of that. That's why you had the Jonathan Allens and Tim Williams and Ryan Anderson. They fed off of that right there. But we take this call here. You're live on the show. It's happening. How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, what's up, man?
Uncle Charles, what's going on, man?
Man, let me tell you something, man. First, I want to say, man, how you doing, bro?
Man, I'm doing good, man. Doing even better than you in here, man. Doing good right now with you in here.
Man, let me tell you something. I want to say hello to the Cowboy of the Alabama Nation, and hey, man, don't worry about what's going on, man. Don't worry about what's going on. Let me tell y'all something. Let me tell you something real good. Tennessee got the win, but it didn't come from the best money you can buy, which is those referees. Let me explain something to you. There are 17 penalties. 17 penalties. You got some people ain't lived in the world that long, but they got 17 penalties. So you got to understand where this come from. Tennessee ain't beat Alabama in almost 20 years. So what do? You got a recruit want to go to Tennessee, and the first thing he's going to ask, why you can't beat Bama? And you got nothing to say. So what did they do? What did they do? You put referees out there, which is from the SEC, favorable to Tennessee, and it didn't make no difference what Alabama did. They was going to lose the game. And I'll show you why I know what I'm talking about. Now, here you go. Bryce Young got hit upside the head by Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, Muhammad Ali. He got hit all up in his neck. Not one penalty. Not one penalty. You get a pass interference call on you, you usually don't turn around. You get the flag. Well, most of those guys turned around. Yeah, Alabama looked like crap. And Pete Golden, I got something to tell you. You better get it together, because I heard they're looking for a defensive coordinator up at Appalachian State, up in the woods, up in the mountains, and you open your door one morning, you will have a moose on your front porch. I guarantee that. I'm going to tell you that right now. Let me explain something to you, man. That was the best referees money can buy. It was set up from the word go. 17 penalties. Remember this. No college team got that many penalties. And you know why I said they was favorable for Tennessee? Because they didn't even know what down it is. I bet you know when to go pay that light bill. I can see you now. Both of you and your lady sitting in the room, lights out, and you up there saying, I love you, snookum face. Now, you see what I'm saying? She's going to be going to somebody that got some lights. Jody done got your girl and gone. It is what it is. Like a snowball rolling down a snow-covered hill. It's growing. It's what it was. We wasn't going to win that game regardless of what we did. Now, I know that. If I know that, Nick Saban know that. Lord knows, Coach Saban, just calm down. I know the score. You know the score. Because I don't want you to lose the rest of your hair. I kind of like you with hair. Let me tell you something. I'm going to say this in closing. The world done went mad. I looked out my window yesterday, and there was some guys out there racing cockroaches. Now, wait a minute. Let me tell you something. You got some people who will beg you to come get their roaches out their house. And y'all out there playing a race with them? I can tell you this. It's no sense to humanity anymore. But I can tell you this in closing. Roll, Tide, roll. And Mississippi State, since we got cheated on, guess what? We will take our revenge on you, Mississippi State. Polar pit bull. You're going to pay, and you're going to pay dearly. And that's all I got to say. Love you, bro.
Appreciate Uncle Charles calling in, giving me my laugh of the day at the end there, going with the likes of Cat Williams, Polo Tank Tank. Oh, man. You got to love Uncle Charles. That was awesome right there. Yeah, I got my laugh of the day. We take this call here. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
What's going on, Steve? This is Elijah. I'm calling from Jersey, man. How you feeling?
Man, I'm doing good, my man. Better question, though, is how are you?
Oh, man, I'm good. I really enjoyed listening to Reggie Ragland, those guys yesterday, Bo, and on that Bama standard, man. A lot of truth was told there, and a lot of things were said that needed to be said, that should have been said, and should have been said a long, long time ago. Not even by them, but by the Alabama coaching staff. You know, one thing, I'm not a Bill O'Brien fan. Can't stand the man, actually. But when you put up 49 points in a game, you're supposed to win that game. It ain't supposed to come down to the last drive, So do I think Bill should go? Absolutely. But can I pin this game and say the offensive play calling and this and that, we should have done this? No, because this game should have never went like this. Like I said, you put up 49 points at Alabama and you lose the game? Nah, that ain't supposed to work like that, Steve. But the one thing I will say is, back in the day, we had the Jeremy Pruitts, we had the Kirby Smarts. But if you listen to Reggie Ragland and them boys fed off each other. It was nothing but war. They didn't have Boy Scouts on defense. That's what Bama got now. They got a bunch of Instagrammers, Facebookers, YouTubers, and Boy Scouts on that defense. Reggie Ragland learned from like McClain. McClain taught like Reggie. Reggie taught, or C.J. Mosley. All those guys was right there in that bunch. Reggie Ragland, C.J. Mosley, Reuben Foster, Rolando McClain. All the Sean Dion Hamilton came down after that. Then Rashad Evans. All these guys learned from the guy in front of them how to play that position and what was the standard in playing that position on the defensive side of the ball. Ever since, I want to say Rashad Evans left at that middle linebacker spot, Alabama been soft in there. And I'll be the first one to say it. Mac Wilson was a versatile linebacker, Steve. He wasn't that type of linebacker like we needed. In all the years after him, we've been getting softer and softer, and teams been able to run more and run more and run more and run more on us. Kirby Smart, was he an energetic guy? Absolutely he was. He was energetic. But when those boys, like I said, the C.J. Mosleys and the Reuben Fosters and all them boys came into Bama, they already had that killer mentality. They already had that dominant mentality. It just carried over now into the football field where, we at the University of Alabama, we're going to pour a little bit more extra sauce on them and make them even more dominant. These boys come in here, they don't know what it takes really to wear that Alabama jersey. They just out there showboating and showcasing, I'm on the Alabama football team. But they ain't representing that jersey like they should be, Steve. On this whole defensive side, they ain't representing them jerseys. They're not representing that standard like it should be represented. Now, back in the day, Steve, the coaches ain't have to get involved in that. That stuff was handled by your teammates. just like Reggie and them said, man, you ain't doing your job. Get the hell up out the game, man. We don't have time for you to be in here lollygagging, waiting to take a picture of you to post it on Instagram and Facebook. If that's where your mind is at, then you need to be in your dorm room doing that type of stuff, not out here on the football field. And to me, like Saban can sit up here and preach all what he want to preach. The mistakes have been going on too long. A lot of these guys should not still be in the lineup. Your loyalty is affecting the team. It really is. And I don't care what nobody say. If you have a guy like Henry Toa, yes, he might know all the calls on defense, but if that don't translate over onto the football field on Saturdays, what good is it doing? And I just want to say this one thing, Steve. What we're seeing out here right now from Alabama, this is one of the biggest reasons why young kids, as far as these freshmen, as far as these sophomores, why they transfer. Because the wrong guys is playing. They sitting there. If we see it, if we sitting up here screaming, man, play the younger guys. They seem like they want to give more effort. You think the players actually don't see it? They sitting up here saying, damn, this man, he ain't played worth a lick the last 6-7 games. But I still don't get a chance, and I'm out here busting my hump every day. Why wouldn't you hit that portal? Why wouldn't you leave to go say, let me go get a fresh start, get a chance to play and be treated fairly? Because everybody, even you, Steve, even me, and all these callers are saying, man, put them young boys in that want to hunt. Why are you still showing this loyalty to these guys when they out there, stinking up the field? Like I said, 49 points you put up on Tennessee. How you let them get 52? You done had number one recruiting classes year in, year out. Out of the last 10 years, you probably had a number one recruiting class eight of them years. How are you rebuilding? This ain't no rebuild year. This is supposed to be next man up, Steve. Next man up. There's no way you can tell me this is the best product we have on the defensive side of the ball. It's somebody else on that sideline that can give us a better effort than what we are seeing out there. And it shouldn't take 7 games to see it, Steve. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, everybody as a coach, especially somebody with the experience Saban got, especially somebody with the experience, Jeremy Pruitt and all the analysts and things that they have on this defensive side. You see the same mistakes week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, and you telling me you still going to coach it out of it? No, there ain't no coaching out of it. This man needs to be replaced now because it done messed around. It done cost you. Now, like I said before, I will say, Pete, you are responsible for not making the adjustment. You see, Helms getting beat like a steel drum out there. Bracket this receiver. Steve, let me ask you a question. Do you realize, and I'm pretty sure you do, one damn man from Tennessee beat us?
Yeah, Jalen Hyatt set a whole school record against Alabama.
One man. When have you noticed one man? Hell, over the years, 11 men couldn't beat us. Now you talking about one man, Steve? One man,
and not just and the sad thing about it, Elijah, is that wasn't even their number one receiver. That was their number 2. Their number 1 didn't even play.
Exactly, man. So you telling me where is the scheme with that? Okay, and let's say forget Pete, Coach Saban. You're a defensive guru. Why ain't you stepping in saying, listen, if y'all can't get it done, hell, I'm going to get it done. I'm taking over the defense now. We're going to bracket this one man, and everybody else, you know what? Somebody else going to beat us, but it won't be him. It will not be him. So, yeah, Pete Golden, you the defensive coordinator, but Nick Saban, you the head coach, and you got a lot of pull in this too. You know what? And you a defensive specialist. Saban is known for running the ball and playing great defense. And believe me, he got his hands and his knuckles all in that defense. And I hold him responsible for not making the adjustments and letting these jokers play on this team. You know, go to that bench. I don't know. I can't say, Steve, and everybody wants to throw out Kendall Blackshire. Everybody wants to throw out all these other players. I'm not going to say they're going to do better. But, hell, they can't do worse. You know what I mean? They can't do no worse than what we're seeing out here. Give them boys a chance at least. Like he always says, you know what? The only way you're going to learn is by experience, repetition. Man, give these boys a chance, man. They dogs that it seem like they want to hunt, like a caller just said before, on the offensive side of the ball. The only two that really remind me of the receivers we had in the past is an Isaiah Bond, is a Kobe Prentice, and they both true freshmen. All the rest of them, these veteran guys, they don't show me nothing like the old Alabama receivers. They might be some of the worst receivers we done had. You know what I mean? As far as Holden and Burton, them guys don't impress me at all. The young bucks impress me. They seem like they hungry. But like I said, I'm not going to get on Bill because 49 points is enough to win a ball game. What I'm going to do is these players need to be challenged. Because like I said, back in the day, Steven, it didn't have to go to the coaches. The players held other players accountable. You going to play up to this standard or you need to get up off this field. You know what I mean? And they learned from each other. Nobody can learn from no Henry To'o. Who going to learn from that? You know what I'm saying? When you just a pile jumper, somebody make the tackle, you come jump on the pile 2 seconds later and they want to call your name for you assisted in a tackle. Nah, that's not the Alabama standard, man. That's not what the fans is used to. And to be honest with you, Saban can say all he wants. He don't listen to the outside noise. But you better start to. You better start to listen to some of these people saying things because obviously we seeing some stuff that he ain't seen. Or he might be seeing, he just don't want to acknowledge it. But as far as that Jalen Moody thing, Steve, for some reason, I think he might not be 100%. I can't say for sure, but this man was the starter. And when he come up with them bruised kidneys, maybe it didn't heal all the way. And I'm all for protecting the player before you throw him out there to the wolves. Make sure this guy is good to go because you don't want to put his future in jeopardy. But he should be good to go this week. And if he ain't out there this week, then it's a shame what they doing to this young man, especially when he was about to hit the portal and came back, showed his loyalty to Alabama by coming back now to sit him down. But hell, him and Lawson should be playing the middle linebackers. I don't know what Toa got on these boys, but I'll let you finish the rest, man. Roll Tide, let me know what you think about what I said.
Man, there's nothing really up to say there, Elijah. You brought the heat. All of y'all brought the heat. So all I can do is sit there, listen to the conversations, engage you guys in conversations, and be thankful that you guys want to be a part of the conversation. We actually got some super chats right now to get to. We've got Lorraine with that $9.99 drop in the bucket. Appreciate Lorraine. Then we got Cici, who came in hot today with her call. She's dropped 25 in there. Appreciate Cici. And our own Jimmy Cash Bucket Money Clay with that $15 donation to his own credit, which makes that $75 donation hit right there, that goal there, Super Chat goal. Appreciate all of you. We're going to grab this call here. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, bud. I'm Chad from Talladega, Alabama. How's it going, Steve?
Doing great, Chad, and yourself?
I'm all right. I just wanted to call, and no one's done this yet, but is it just me or was the Tennessee game basically, I can't cuss on here, but the referees were leaning one way. I'll put it mildly. That was a terrible officiated game. And frankly, we'll say the targeting. Yeah. Wow, was it or was it not, Stephen?
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this, Chad. The guy leaned with his helmet, but even if you don't call targeting, it needs to lay roughing the passer 15-yard penalty. At least that.
Right, okay.
At the very least that. I mean, you clearly say, Bryce, the ball is out of Bryce's hands. He now becomes a defenseless player. The guy's barreling into his chin, head-to-head contact there. If you're not going to call targeting, if you're not going to do that, then at least a 15-yard penalty. That wasn't even called.
Exactly, Steve. Now, look, fortunately, we ended up scoring on that drive. But this is the point I'm getting to. Several pass interferences on their end they didn't call. All right, and then not only that, okay, and then we couldn't get off the field on third down. Not that our defense sucked, but all those penalties, if you'll go back and watch, were on third down for them. Kept drives alive. That's how they got 52, Stephen. I mean, we should have beat them like 49-24 or maybe 31. I mean, and nobody's actually realizing it because we were watching it. We were so amped. And, you know, they got up to 28-7. The first few touchdowns they earned, all right? Then when we made that run, it got real picky. Then they started just nailing us with it. Every third down, it just seemed like, if you'll go back and watch, Nick's not going to say nothing about it. You know why? He doesn't want to be in that kind of spotlight. Now, true, like the previous callers, there is some issues going on, but to me, it seems like Tennessee had one game plan. They went deep and they burned us. And if they didn't, we got pass interference calling on us. I mean, I'm just frustrated. Same thing happened in Texas, if you notice. Lopsided penalties called on Alabama. Now, really, are we that undisciplined? I mean, really, people, wake up. Is Alabama that undisciplined? I mean, you're coached by Nick Saban. Are you that terrible that you're just going to commit 17 penalties in a game? I mean, it just seems like when you're at the top for so long, somebody's putting some money in somebody's pockets to just get them out of the playoff picture. I mean, it's getting to the point now to where Alabama, just people hate Alabama. The last thing I'll leave with, the reason I understand that is because I listen to Uncle Lou, this Georgia guy that, you know, you're familiar with who he is probably. But anyway, and when I listened in on that call-in show yesterday, every caller from every other fan base across the Southeastern Conference and other conferences were just wanting to talk about how they were so glad Alabama got beat. That's it. I mean, you know, when it's just like, you know, in any other sport, people get tired of people just winning all the time. People that didn't even care who Tennessee is were rooting for Tennessee in that game. I mean, it gets to a point to where Alabama has to understand that, and they do. And those young kids, listen, they're not complete adults yet. They're superstars, they're kids, and they're not able to understand everything yet. But the talent's definitely there. They're a great ball team. And look, our offense, I couldn't be more proud of. Against the odds, they kept going at it. They kept scoring. Cameron Latu deserves all kind of awards. I mean, what a
he stepped
player
up.
he is.
He really stepped up.
Exactly, Steve. And I don't want people to be discouraged about this loss. This loss was rigged. That's my opinion, though. I mean, and yes, there's questions that need to be answered. Why aren't other people playing? Steve, everybody's 4-starred on that team. I mean, you know, you have to. What the fans need to understand, we're not there to watch them practice every day. What goes on between Monday and Friday? Okay, we don't know exactly what's going on with Ricks or with Tyler Harrell or with, you know, I mean, Nick Saban. I mean, God, he's got us 6 national titles. I mean, what more do you want from the man? I mean, maybe, you know, he's a human being. I'm not saying that he shouldn't be questioned. That's just us as fans, diehard. We've been on top. We want answers. We lost the ball game, you know. I mean, that's the standard that people talk about. And other programs and everything else, they're like, well, I mean, yeah, we took a loss. It was by a field goal at the last second. Let's regroup and just get it together. Us, it was detriment. But on top of that, Stephen, I'll leave with this. It was unfair the way we lost, too. You have I want you to reflect on that. I'll hang up and let you talk, bud. Roll Tide.
Appreciate Chad from Talladega calling in there. And going back to the Bama Standard on last night with Nick Gentry, Reggie Ragland, Bo Scarborough, Marvin Constant, Justin Riley, and myself. One of the biggest conversations was you never allow the game to enter the hands of the officiating crew. You never allow that to happen. The players take the game into their own hands, not allowing the officiating crew to have the most critical or crucial calls in the game. However, when there's something that's flat, black, and white, and you see it, you have to call it. The thing on the hit on Bryce Young, I mean, that was black and white. You see that. You have to call that. Isaiah Bond got completely mauled on the play, face mask grab. You see that. You have to call that. There were others out there, but those are the two just blatant to me that you have to make that call. If you see it happening out there, you got to make that call there. And then some are not necessary to be called. Like, you sit there, you flag Malachi Moore, but the play is 70 yards the other way, and this is why I'm not an official. Praise God, I'm not an official. But we take this call here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, Steve, this is Rob. How you doing?
Doing great, Robert, and yourself?
I'm doing pretty good. Hey, I agree with most of the comments about Alabama's situation, and rather than be Captain Obvious, I want to kind of come at it a different way.
Okay.
We keep talking about the Alabama standard, and that's fine. But I think too much of this conversation has been an inside-out conversation versus an outside-in conversation. And by what I mean by outside-in is the world is changing. The competition is getting better. The posse's catching up. And that's just natural when you've been dominant so long. And so I think we got to step back and look at things from an outside perspective. Josh Heupel, the coach of Tennessee, is very innovative. I doubt if he's not in the pros within the next year or two. What he did with that offense was expose an Achilles heel in Alabama's defense with his scheme. And I think we got to give him credit for that. And we got to say to ourselves, okay, if they did that, what do you think some of these other teams are going to do down the road? And like the other caller said, this team could be very quickly 4-3, if not for a few calls and situations. And so I think, there's been a lot of happy talk on here about it's only one game, but I think, and I've been concerned about this, that's why I called it a barn burner, even though I predicted Alabama would win by 3. I would say to Coach Saban, as an outside consultant, you have a very undisciplined and a team with lack of confidence. And so, if you're running a business and you are confronted with that, either from your own evaluation, outside consultant, that's a leadership issue. And our leadership issue means Nick Saban. He needs a mid-course correction, because if you look at the issues that Alabama has, this thing could go south quickly with a tough game against LSU on the road, a tough game against Mississippi on the road. Let me give you some examples. Riker, he doesn't have confidence. He's missed 2 critical field goals to the right. One didn't cost us against A&M, but obviously it cost us against Tennessee. Now, how much confidence is he going to have moving forward? You look at that defense, and while we keep talking about the safeties being exposed, and, that's the issue, but the real issue was that front 7 got weight room by the Tennessee offensive line. Nobody's talking about that. That's the strength of the team. And if you look at the tape, I mean, yeah, they were only rushing 3 or 4, or sometimes 5, but they only got pressure 2 or 3 times in the whole game. And the other thing that shows the lack of confidence is the fact that Alabama changed their philosophy on defense. They were that intimidated by Tennessee. They're dropping 7 to 8. When's the last time they did that? And, we keep talking about coaches and this and that and the other. Let me ask you this question. You think if they had Eddie Jackson at safety or Mika Fitzpatrick at safety, they would be changing their whole defensive scheme because one guy caught 6 passes for 5 touchdowns? Of course not. So while we can talk about the coaches, and I agree with a lot of comments, this is a player issue at this point. There has to be The coaches have to put in some new players, but the players have to self-police themselves. And at this point in the season, it is what it is with the coaches and the scheme. And I'm not convinced that, the scheme is, 100% of the problem. I'd say, it's maybe a third. I think the big issue is the individual leadership that has to come forward from Bryce, Will Anderson, and Battle. I think those guys are going to have to step up their leadership game in different ways because that's the only way this team is going to move forward. If we keep talking about referees and calls, as Rudyard Kipling said, there are a million reasons for failure. There's not one single excuse. And the fact of the matter is the bar has been raised by the competition, and Alabama, can't get away with the mistakes that they got away with in the past. And I agree with the comment I think you made. I think the offense of Alabama has masked a decline over the last 3 or 4 years, because their offense is so prolific, it made teams one-dimensional, and the defense is able to get by. But now, we don't have that cushion anymore. Again, because the world doesn't stand still. It gets tougher, and that's just the nature of things. So I think, it's going to be really interesting, the changes that Nick Saban makes this week, because I think this is really going to be the defining game for the season in terms of the personnel changes that he makes, as well as some of the schemes that they have to make, particularly in terms of the defense, the pressure package, and, do they stay with particularly the safety situation. So give me your comments on anything I've said, either disagree or agree. Thanks.
Appreciate Robert from Chicago calling in right there. I mean, Saban mentioned quite a few times on Monday, change is coming. Now, I know we're tired of hearing statements, want to see action. So will the action be this week that we see some changes coming? Seeing some other guys in the secondary, a little shake up there. Seeing some other guys at linebacker, a little shake up there. Seeing other guys in the defensive line, a little shake up there. When will those changes come? Hopefully that be this week, as Coach Saban did hint to that twice, I believe 3 times, but I know twice in Monday's presser as I was there for Touchdown Alabama Magazine. We take this call here. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, how you doing, Steven? It's Demetrius from North Carolina.
Demetrius, what's going on?
Well, I'm still trying to get my head out the sand, boy. I'm on Pepto-Bismol. I got an upset stomach from the game, but I ain't completely sick no more. But I'm doing better.
Man, look. I'm just happy you're doing better, man. I got folks that I talk to still having a hard time putting the Hennessy bottle down, man.
Hey, I'm a Jack Daniels man myself, but I just want to call in to add my little 2 cents worth. I mean, everybody pretty much done covered everything that I believe is going on. But my little 2 cents is a couple calls ago he mentioned it. Man, these game one problems they having, and we in the middle of the season. Come on, man. Don't come on. I believe it's a combination of all the coaches, whether it be position coaches, from head coach and all the way down to the players. And it's gonna be some tough decisions made. I mean, how long we been hearing this same old talk from the players? Oh, we gonna be ready the next game. Look, man, you ain't gotta come out here and tell us that. Just go on out there and do it. Or Coach Saban. Oh, well, we gonna have. Nah, I trust Nick. He done got the school back to his prominence in 6 national championship. But I mean, you always preach about the best man gonna be on the field. I ain't been saying that, Hill. It's been some times you done let some stuff slide. And I know the caller said about the Bama standard. Yes, yes, you gotta have a standard. You can't be slipping from your standard. That's how mediocrity come in. And so, I hope they turn it around. It ain't gonna get no easier for us. And one issue I want to address, for 2 years, Bryce Young has been running from his life. I done watched the game 3 times over. I mean, this has been a center for 2 years. Ain't nobody talking about that. They're talking about the defense. Bryce Young been running for his life. Come on, man. Can we get the best player in the country just a little bit hold up for 3 seconds? Receivers, can you get open? I mean, I don't know. That's a to me, that's the elephant in the room. Is Bryce Young is getting hit too much, and it's been going on for 2 years. That's all I gotta say, Steve.
Appreciate Demetrius there for that call, and it's almost like this to me. Could you imagine if Bryce Young would have Steve Sarkisian as his OC? Could you imagine if Bryce Young would have Alabama's championship offensive line for 2020? And could you imagine if Bryce Young had Judy, Ruggs, Smith, and Waddle as his receivers? Well, Bryce Young would be tearing the league up if that was the mixture of what he had. But he's got Bill O'Brien calling plays. He's got receivers that half the time don't even want to catch the football, with the exception of the young guys, Prentice, Bond. They want to catch the football. Brooks flashes time and time also. And then you got the offensive line of whom, aside from Seth McLaughlin, sometimes the rest do well. Sometimes they're like, hey, Olay, come on through and hit Bryce Young. Like, it's man, that's most magic in terms of quarterback having to overcome all of this. But we take this call here. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, Steven, this is Mike from Kentucky, man. What's up, brother?
Doing good, Mike. I mean, Mike, I wanted to see Tyler Harrell so bad last week, but it looks like this week.
Man, I don't get it. That dude is supersonic, man. He's got legit 4.2 speed. Why ain't he on the field? He averaged 30 yards a touch for Louisville. I mean, well, I don't get it. But, I'm going to put a positive spin on this, man, because I don't like being negative. As bad as we played, and as good as Tennessee played, and as much as them refs dealt off the bottom of the deck, they still got us on a last-second play. So I hope Tennessee takes care of business, take care of Georgia. We'll see you again in Atlanta with a different crew, and then we'll see how it shakes out. I mean, I think the biggest problem with the University of Alabama right now is I think they pay too much attention to these recruiting rankings, these boys that get the stars by their name. Now, to me, if I'm a college coach and I'm looking for a cornerback, if you ain't 6'2", 6'1" minimum with an 80-inch wingspan and 4.4 speed, you ain't playing for Alabama. We got these 6-foot cornerbacks. I would have put, who's that cat from Louisiana that we got through the portal? What's his name? Eli Ricks?
Yeah.
Okay. Why didn't they stick him in there? He's 6'3", and say, get on that cat. He's got a stride that, a 6'1" guy can't stride with a 6'5" guy. That's why he was just running off from our cornerbacks. I would have stuck Eli in there and said, look, dude, I don't care what you do. Just get in that boy's back pocket and stay there. I mean, when you got a 6-foot cornerback and a 6'5" receiver, there ain't no such thing as a 50-50 ball. They're not looking at the measurables. They're looking at stars when they recruit. They need to get some new blood in there on the recruiting trail and do the due diligence and dig and research what kind of competition these cats actually played against. I mean, because we miss them. I mean, we're the Brockemeyer brothers. They were supposed to be the next Quanjo brothers. Where are they, man?
Look, they scrapping trying to break the rotation.
Yeah, I mean, it's just we have missed miserably across the board. O-line, D-line, middle linebacker, and despite all that, we'll get Tennessee if we play them again. I'm not going to get too down on us. Man, I love University of Alabama. I've been watching them ever since Moby Dick was a menace, son. And, we'll get Tennessee next time we play them. I mean, there were pivotal moments in that Tennessee game where the referees controlled the narrative. I mean, Kool-Aid was 60 yards downfield when that flag hit the ground. Now, come on, man. Did you see it, or what did you do? Look at the Jumbotron and then call the play, after the play was over? I mean, that and Bryce got club. Bryce got, rough. That should have been first and goal, but nope, we had to settle for 3. That's all right. That's all right. That won't happen to us next time we play them. They're going to be a highly graded officiating crew in the SEC championship. I'm not going to get down on shit, but I tell you what, Mississippi State didn't score hardly no points against Kentucky last week, right? What did they score? 10 points?
17, but barely.
But yeah, okay. Well, I mean, if they scored 35 points on us, we got big problems, bro. Because I know we're more talented than Kentucky. That's just the way I see it. Well, Roll Tide, man, I ain't gonna get too negative, but I think that the real issue is the recruiting. Just because the cat's got stars by his name, they got to go by the measurables. Bryce Young's the only kid out there that defies the laws of measurables, because you typically want a 6'4", 6'5", 230-pound quarterback. A quarterback, it don't matter. You got to see the field. Nobody sees the field, man. Despite Rome burning around him, Bryce Young still played like a champion. And, we had some other guys step up. Cameron Latu I think he's finally back in the groove. I think Isaiah Bond, N'Kobe Dean, and who's that kid that wears number 80? I think those are our 3 most consistent receivers. Yep, I think those are our 3 go-to guys in the receiving corps, and that's enough for Bryce. So y'all have a good night, man. We'll get them next time. I just hope they take care of business, brother.
Absolutely. Mike from Kentucky calling in there right there, giving us his thoughts on the show. Bama taking on Mississippi State on Saturday at Bryant Denny. We grabbed this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
William Newman from Dangerous, Tennessee, brother. How you doing, my man?
Doing great, William, and yourself?
Oh, buddy, I tell you what. Well, I'm kind of like you. I think it's about time we start to see Tyler Harrell. I have no idea what the holdup's been on that. I mean, maybe there's some secret weapon, that Saban's trying to hide. I don't know, but I'm just glad it's about time where I think we're going to get to see him. But another thing I want to know, and maybe you can answer, are we going to see Eli Ricks this weekend?
Bama needs to. I mean, Bama needs to have him out there because you got to shake some things up in the secondary. Whether you choose to put him as the corner opposite Kool-Aid McKinstry, and you want to move Terrion Arnold to safety, or you want to move Brian Branch to safety, put Malachi Moore back at star, whatever you got to do, because you got to get DeMarco Hellams off of free safety. He's not a coverage safety. He's a dime, hard-hitting linebacker, so get him more in the box. But Saban's always saying, I got to get my best in the field. You recruited Eli Ricks for a reason. He's 6'2", 6'3". You got to get him out there and say, hey, take away the guy's best receiver. Go out there and do it.
Oh, most definitely, most definitely. And the thing is, I really believe these coaches are overcomplicating it. I mean, look, it's football, guys. It's 11 versus 11. There's either one or two things they can do with football. They can either run it or they can throw it. I don't know what they think else they can do with it. So, I mean, you've got a 50-50 shot of guessing what they're going to do. I don't know. I don't understand. Anyways, I know Mississippi State's got a receiver that's like 6'5", and I agree with that last caller. You got to look at the intangibles and, look at what these guys have. And a 6-foot guy is not going to be able to cover a 6'5", not very well at least, compared to someone who's 6'3", and, could get out there and run with him stripe for stripe. So I just kind of want to get your thoughts and see what you thought about that, and roll tide to you, brother.
Appreciate the call right there. Coming to the show from William out of Tennessee. I thought right here, John, when do we see Kyrie Jackson again? I mean, Kyrie is 6'3". Now, I know Kyrie has had moments going back to the Texas game where he got burned by Xavier Worthy, but Xavier Worthy has burned a lot of people this year. So, at what point, along with Eli Ricks, could we see Kyrie Jackson get a little bit more length and athleticism out there to run with guys stride for stride? That's just me there. Gotta shout out Screaming Demon with that $19.99 in the super chat, showing love right there. Appreciate him. We got 370 in the chat. Appreciate you guys. We're at 140 likes, but you know what? I know we can get higher than that. Let's get this thing to 200 likes. You know what to do. Hit that thumbs up. Give us that like right there on the show, making the Short Network platform, channel, and space to talk Crimson Tide football. We go to our call topic right here, and it's on Alabama wide receiver Jermaine Burton. There was an incident that took place after the Tennessee game. So after the field goal went through and the Volunteer fans stormed the field, there was a moment where a Tennessee fan that was storming the field, young lady, there was allegedly she was pushed or shoved by Alabama's wide receiver Jermaine Burton. There's video, multiple videos, I believe, that captured this. And of course, Burton right now, I believe he got arrested and charged for that. The alleged push, shove there of the fan. And Nick Saban issued out a statement today saying that he's made aware that the university knows about what happened. They're gathering information on this entire issue here, and they will move forward upon gathering this information. So what will happen with Jermaine Burton? What will the consequences be? We will see as the information is gathered, and once the verdict or once the news of the result is put out there by Coach Saban, we will get that to you. But Saban made a statement today via press release from the University of Alabama going back to the incident that took place after the Tennessee game that involved Jermaine Burton allegedly pushing a Tennessee fan there after the matchup. But we're gonna go to a break right here. If you're still holding on the call-in queue, hold on for the next 10 minutes. You can call back within the next 10 minutes. When we come back from break, we will set up, preview Bama, Mississippi State, Nick Saban, Mike Leach, the battle for Highway 82 right after this.
You know what we do at the start of the fourth quarter. We throw them foes up. But now you don't have to wait until the fourth quarter. Get your 4-finger bling necklace at weownthefourthquarter.com. It's the first and only logo that captures the essence of all Crimson Tide players and fans as we represent the legendary Alabama football fourth quarter dominance. Get your 4-finger bling necklace right now at weownthefourthquarter.com. Get yours today and stun on them haters. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide. Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
All right, folks, we're back ahead of the action from the break. Hottest show on the streets, talking Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. Got the man John Ivory in the production studio. Appreciate all the conversation so far from all of you. Continue hitting that like button, like the show, run those thumbs up all the way up right there. We're at 160 likes right now, trying to get this puppy to 200 likes. Appreciate all of you hitting that like button, subscribing as well. Also, all donations appreciated. All donations welcome right here, especially if you're loving the content, you feeling what we're putting down here, you enjoying conversating with everybody of Alabama football. Appreciate all those donations right there as well. But we're getting it right here, folks. Setting us up for Bama, Mississippi State, the battle for Highway 82. The rivalry is called there. And after, falling short there, it's taking a 3-point loss against Tennessee. Alabama trying to bounce back. trying to rebound, trying to right the ship, if you will, in this homecoming matchup. Bryant-Denny on Saturday, 6 p.m. Central Time kickoff against Mississippi State. And this is a game normally that, State, tough, hard-nosed, physical, scrappy, they love to wear you out type team. That's Mississippi State. And they've always kind of been that way. They've always kind of been that team, even early in the Nick Saban years at Alabama, they would give the Crimson Tide a good game. They may not have all the talent in the world, but boy, do they fight, boy, do they scrap, boy, are they gritty, and they get after you over there in Starkville, Mississippi. And for the third time, we've got Nick Saban against Mike Leach, the one who's known universally as the GOAT versus the one who is known as the Crazy Pirate. Nick Saban and Mike Leach here. And Leach, going back and seeing what Josh Heupel of Tennessee was able to do against Alabama with Hendon Hooker at quarterback, he's thinking, I got a quarterback by the name of Will Rogers. My guy's got 23 touchdown passes this year, only 4 picks. I got an offense in the air raid that we slinging around the field 50 to 60 times a game. I mean, we got that. I mean, we run the football a little bit, but we got an offense that's based around the passing game. So, Tennessee, Josh Heupel and Hendon Hooker can have the success. I mean, clearly, my air raid offense, I can put up some numbers here against the Crimson Tide. I mean, that's got to be going through Mike Leach's head here at the moment. And with that being said, the first thing for Alabama football in this game is getting that pass rush back right in terms of getting out the quarterback. Bama's got to hit home on Will Rogers. Like, this pass rush has got to hit home on Will Rogers. After having just 1 sack against Hendon Hooker, 2 tackles for loss, 1 quarterback hurry, this group has got to get to Will Rogers. Now, last season, we all remember this, after the loss to Texas A&M at Kyle Field, what did Alabama do? They came on the road against Mississippi State and the Cowbells, and they put the clamps down on State, winning that game 49-9. So here we go again. This time the matchup in Bryant-Denny. Crowd's going to be loud. Going to be electric in Tuscaloosa. How do you handle Mississippi State after a 3-point loss to Tennessee that it shouldn't have went down that way, but it did? Milk is already spilled. What does this pass rush do? From the interior, collapse in the pocket, batting balls down, to your edge rushers, how do you make sure and very sure you hit home on Rodgers and not allow him to have the same success that Hendon Hooker had? Also, when you look at Alabama's offensive line, big game for this group because Mississippi State, I mean, they got guys on that defensive front that get after you, especially their 2 linebackers, Jet Johnson, and they got another guy in there as well, but Jet Johnson's the main guy. But they got 2 linebackers that just get after. I think the other guy's Nathaniel Watson. There we go. Jet Johnson and Nathaniel Watson get after quarterbacks. Get after the run game. They get after offensive linemen. They shed blocks. They throw guys to the side, and they attack the football. So, for Alabama's offensive line, Seth McLaughlin and company got to be able to sustain here against this Mississippi State defensive line and creating, as they've been doing for Jahmyr Gibbs, who's got 3 straight 100-yard games, creating for Jace McClellan, but also not having Bryce Young get hit so many times the way he did against Tennessee just last week. And so, lastly here, and setting the stage, these Alabama receivers got to get off this coverage, got to get off this press coverage, this man-to-man coverage, because State's got some DBs. I mean, they're led by Emmanuel Forbes, who's got 5 picks. State's got DBs. They got guys that can cover. They got guys that can play zone, that can play man, they can play bump and run, they can play press, they can play whatever coverage you want them in. And they will look at making sure that none of the Alabama receivers get off of this coverage, this press coverage that they play in. So for Ja'Cory Brooks, for Isaiah Bond, for Kobe Prentice, for all of these receivers, Harrell, we see him out there. Get off of this press man, create separation, work back to Bryce Young, get big plays made against this Mississippi State secondary. This group is 5-2. They're a good group. They're a talented group. They got playmakers. And once again, after seeing what happened against Tennessee, everybody's got the film from that game. They're saying, okay, if Tennessee can do it, we got some athletes. Let's see if we can replicate that. So for Alabama, pressure's got to come all game long to Will Rogers. Offensive line got sustained against this State defensive front. These Alabama receivers, get separation. Get off this coverage because State's got some DBs that will try to blanket this Alabama wide receiver core here. But we'll take another break here, folks. Don't touch that dial. When we get back, we return to the phone lines to grab your calls, your thoughts, your conversations. Light us up. Be back after this.
Don't touch that dial. Call in right now as we're taking your calls up next on In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith. Brought to you by We Own the Fourth Quarter. Visit weownthefourthquarter.com now to get your four-finger bling necklace. Every sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwell Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care in support of Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99 and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to whitwellsports.com and get your Title Towel today. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
Back in, folks, to the action from the break on a Wednesday, hump day, number one ticket you're going to find here talking Crimson Tide football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. Continue hitting that like button, liking the show, running those likes, raising those likes up here, people. Trying to get this at 200 likes right here. Continue to hit subscribe. We're 20 more likes away from 200. Continue doing your job. 30 more likes away, Continue doing your job, making this your show, network, platform, channel, and space to talk Alabama football. We appreciate you. Also, all donations welcome. All donations appreciated as well. Dropping those there into the super chats. I actually got an update here from Coach Saban and his presser on this evening about the Jermaine Burton situation. It is being handled internally. That should be a surprise to nobody. Whenever there's a discipline issue, what does Nick Saban say? We handle this internally. So it's being handled right now in terms of one Jermaine Burton. But we go to the phone lines to take your calls. Call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. Number to call in. We grab this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? What's going on? State your name and where you calling from.
What's up, Steve? This your boy Jay from Sheffield.
Here we go, baby. Jay in the house. What's happening, man?
I mean, Steve, what can we say? What can we say, man? Look at our offense and look at their offense. It look like two different. Did you see they running scheme, Steve?
Look, Jay. It was creativity versus non-creativity.
How long I've been calling in asking for a little bit of creativity,
I
man?
mean, Jay, you've been saying this since June, brother. June.
Steve, you remember when I called in a few weeks ago, we had a whole rundown about the inside zone run?
Yeah.
Tennessee did what all game?
They did inside zone run and threw it deep.
That's it, Steve. And we ain't seen Bama do that. Oh, yeah, man. Hey, I'm going to pull up. You know when you can't even be frustrated no more, Steve? What is that?
You know what? That's where it gets real scary, Jay, when you can't even be frustrated no more. Like, you just so numb, you can't even get mad anymore.
I can't even – I don't know what – and then Mississippi State running the ball better. I'm like – I told my friends earlier, These are childhood friends. I say it's the perception of Bama that people, that we missing. People used to fear us, Steve. Get off the bus. We shaking the earth, moving things. Man, now we got people Mississippi State fans feeling like they got a chance, Steve. That ain't. I mean, what we supposed to do for this, Steve?
I mean, former players, Jay, have been saying, get some of these former players back in here. Get these Marquise Mazes. Get these, these Reggie Ragners. Get these former guys that know back in the program.
So can we? I just want everybody to know my name been first on the fire bill petition. I wasn't first on the fire P petition, but I think I was about fifth. So I'm top 5 on the fire P petition too. We need to just go scratch them boys off the list. Get the coordinators gone, start over next year, man. Because we don't win the championship this year with this team we got. Man, come on, man. You guys should never get a coaching job. You shouldn't even be able to coach a 7th grade football team. You got talent 4 deep, man. I don't know, Steve. I'm just disappointed. My feelings hurt. Couldn't do nothing but just watch it. We so bad. Our offensive coordinator so bad, he can't even set up a game-winning field goal. You mean to tell me you can't run 2 minutes off the clock, dude? Is it that hard, Steve?
It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be, man.
Man, I love y'all, Steve. Roll Tide, man. Just got me some McDonald's, about to eat and shake my head because I'm still wondering, how did we lose to Tennessee? The freaking balls. It don't even sound right.
Appreciate Jay from Sheffield calling. Maybe Jay can give me that double quarter pounder with cheese, man. Been craving for a double quarter pounder for a minute now, but appreciate Jay for that call. We take this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? What's going on? State your name and where you calling from.
Thank you. Hey, Stephen, this is Mark calling from Jacksonville, Florida. How you doing?
Doing great, Mark, and yourself?
Hey, I'm doing fine. Hey, Stephen, I just want to make one quick call, because this is really upsetting me. I think Bama is okay, man, and that's just my personal opinion. I think, like the caller before said, hey, teams are getting better. But I'm just going to make this and I'm going to get off the line. When the game was on the line, Stephen, regardless of whatever happened, we had a chance to win the game. Okay? We had a running back miss that. He dropped that ball across the middle. That he either scores a touchdown or puts us in field goal range. So the kicker could have a closer kick. Tennessee is a whole lot better team than they were last year. And we just got to learn to accept that and take what we get. Long as we win, a win is a win, Stephen. A win is a win. That's all I have to say.
Appreciate Mark calling in there from Florida. And I've mentioned this before. The destiny for Alabama to get to the SEC championship is still there. You win out the West, the remainder of your regular season schedule. You get to the SEC championship game to face the East winner, whether that be Georgia, whether that be Tennessee in a rematch of this regular season game. Doesn't matter. You win that one, and you're right there in the college football playoff. So the dreams and goals are there. It's just little things that need to be fixed quickly. Little things that have become bothersome that need to be fixed quickly. That's the thing right there. If you get the little things fixed quickly, you should be in good shape there. But we take this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Jordan in Chattanooga, Tennessee. You knew I'd be calling.
Hey,
Amen,
Jordan, man. I mean, what a game for Josh Heupel. He got his cigars, man. Hendon Hooker's at the top of the Heisman race. Have y'all? I mean, has Jalen Hyatt bought a new car yet?
I don't know, man, but I was shocked. I mean, to the previous caller that was just, sounded like he was just giving up on life, you know, about getting the McDonald's and all that. Listen, man, this rivalry is a very streaky rivalry. There's been times where Tennessee's won 5, 6 straight, and Alabama will snap a streak, and they'll go on like a 7 straight streak. It's pretty normal in this series. I think the last time it ever went back to back to back to back, like no team won 2 straight, was I think in the late 40s. So ever since then, it's been a very streaky rivalry. But yes, I was very impressed. I was worried with how are they going to be able to contain the big two-headed monster in Will Anderson, Dallas Turner. But I think you got to give credit to Tennessee's offensive line. They really stepped up. I mean, they played a heck of a game.
They did. I mean, they did. And on top of that, I mean, the play calling of Josh Heupel where you go trips to the right, or trips to the bottom, or trips to the top. You have Jagan Hyde in the slot, and you run that thing, and he gets 5 touchdown receptions off that thing.
Yeah, and that's the thing, I feel like, that was kind of the turning point for Tennessee. And to go to Alabama right now, I feel like if I'm an Alabama fan, I do not overlook this next game. I understand, because a lot of my Alabama friends, they're like, oh, well, now Nick Saban's got the loss. Now they're really going to come out to play. I said, well, you would think if those issues were going to be fixed, they would have been fixed after the Texas game, not continuing to happen in these games that are against, people with a pulse. I said, listen, man, Mississippi State has a pretty dang good offense. They got arguably the best passing quarterback in the SEC and Will Rogers, and they got some weapons. And like you said about their defense, I mean, Mississippi State is not a slouch team. I mean, they put it on A&M and Arkansas. So I mean, they're a for real team. So if I'm Alabama, if I'm a player, I'd take every game outside of Austin Peay very seriously, because they cannot slip up at all. I mean, because if they keep making these penalties and these mistakes, they can lose that game against Mississippi State. Then they can lose that game at LSU, which good and well it's going to be a night game. They could lose that game at Ole Miss. And knowing the series history against Auburn, they might lay an egg in that game if they don't get it together. You know what I mean?
Look, man. By this, man, you might as well be concerned about Austin Peay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, for some reason this team just feels different. Like they don't have that oomph to them. Like the caller said, before it was an intimidation thing. Like if you beat them, then yeah, you beat them straight up. But I just feel like for some reason they just keep making these mental mistakes and these mental errors for some reason. And luckily, they've been able to get ahead at the right time, and the team they were playing made a mistake that cost them. But I don't know. I'm hoping for y'all's sake that y'all get turned around, but I'm just saying if something like that does happen, it would not shock me at the same time.
Appreciate Jordan call. Absolutely. Appreciate my man Jordan there from Chattanooga, Tennessee, giving his thoughts here on the show. I know that this team can make the change, can right the ship, and get this thing back in order. It comes down to, number one, as you guys have mentioned all night calling in, starting off with Coach Saban making some shakeups here in terms of players. Also, Coach Saban having more of a say when you look at the offensive and defensive play calling. And you tighten up on those small areas there, and then we can start to see the whole picture improve and the whole picture look better. We're going to go to this quick call topic right here. This one goes to Quinnen Williams, former Bama defensive lineman, All-American, and national champion. Quinnen Williams, he's a beast in the NFL. We all kind of knew he would be one. And he's got the New York Football Jets playing pretty nice right now. The Jets coming off a win over the Green Bay Packers. Quinnen Williams made AFC Defensive Player of the Week. So big ups there to one Big Q, having a Pro Bowl type of season right now for the Jets under coach Robert Saleh there. So congratulations to Quinnen Williams, AFC Defensive Player of the Week. We're gonna go to our final break here, folks. Don't touch that dial. Upon our return, we'll get into this Alabama defense. Can it turn around? Can this defense right the ship? Can this defense make these improvements here as we head down the stretch of the season? We'll wrap things up with that after this.
If you're an avid Alabama Crimson Tide fan and you love to flaunt it, then show your Alabama Crimson Tide support by grabbing the All-Bama sneakers. They feature bold Crimson Tide graphics, so no one will be able to question where your allegiance lies. When you add these sweet sneakers to your Alabama Crimson Tide collection, go to stsfootwear.com and use the code TDAlabama for $15 off your purchase. That's code TDAlabama for $15 off your purchase. Go to stsfootwear.com and get your All-Bama sneakers today. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide. Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
All right, folks, appreciate all of you guys checking us out today. Hottest show on the streets here, bringing you Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith, Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Remember to hit that like button, that thumbs up, raise those likes up. Give us that like there on the show. Make this your show. Network, platform, channel, space to talk Crimson Tide football. We are 10 likes away from 200. Hit that like button. Don't forget to leave a like there. Help us out. We appreciate that. Also, all donations welcomed right here on the show. All donations firmly appreciated. Appreciate all of you guys for making this your place, your space, and your comfort zone, if you will, to talk Crimson Tide football. I remind you guys also of TDAwear.com. That's TDAwear.com. So for all of your swagger, sauce, drip, fashion, clothing, cultural needs, check us out right now, TDAwear.com. Link in the description. Get you that gear right now. I mean, hoodies, shirts, pants, leggings, jewelry. Wait, is it just jewelry too? But pants, leggings, shirts, shorts, hoodies. We got you right there. TDAwear.com. Continue to show that support right there for Coach Saban, the University of Alabama, the student athletes, and us here at Touchdown Alabama Magazine. But look at the Alabama defense. This is what everybody's been talking about. It's what the Bama Nation's been talking about all day. This Alabama defense. And can it right the ship after giving up 52 points to Tennessee? Can Nick Saban and Pete Golding get this thing right? Can this defense pick things up if it's trying to run the table? Because Alabama wants to run the table in the SEC West, get to the conference championship game, win that, and get in the college football playoff. But in order for that to happen, the defense has to pick things up. And it starts with the play calling and the schematics and the simplifying of things from Pete Golding. But more so than that, Nick Saban as the CEO being hands-on and making sure all of this is being done correctly. So that's the first part. And from there it goes now the defensive line. Defensive line's got to bring pressure. Like, this interior pass rush has got to show up. Tim Smith, Byron Young, Jaheim Otis, Jamil Burrows, DJ Dale, y'all, they got to show up. You've got to push the pocket. You've got to collapse the pocket. You've got to bat balls down. You've got to suffocate quarterbacks from the inside. You can't just sit there and watch the guy throw the ball, sip tea, eat food, read 5 books, drive a Maserati, get the text message from mom, go on a Calvin Klein runway model, and then come back and still play football. You can't have that happen. You got to collapse the pocket. You've got to affect the quarterback as an interior defensive lineman, an interior pass rusher. From there, I look at this inside linebacker position. It's just Jalen Moody time. It's just time. It's Jalen Moody time. It's time to look at Moody for this middle linebacker position, because Moody puts you back in the mindset of the Reggie Ragland, of the Rashawn Evans, of the Sean Dion Hamiltons, of those old school guys that had that mentality of I'm gonna kill you before you kill me. Like, Moody's got that type of mentality, and you got to go to war, with that. I mean, put Deontay Lawson next to him at weak side linebacker, cool, but Jalen Moody, it's time to look at him as the Mike, as the middle, as the captain here of this Alabama defense, because he is somebody that will strike you. He is somebody that will snatch you up. He is somebody that's what he does. That is exactly what Moody does. And in terms of the defensive secondary, it's just time to look at Eli Riggs. I mean, it's just time. I mean, where can you go wrong here? Where can you go wrong here? Kool-Aid has improved. I don't think Tennessee looked his way one time a week ago, so Kool-Aid's pretty much solidified there. I like Terrion Arnold. He's got talent, young, but could Alabama maybe try him at safety? Because he played safety in high school. Our own Justin Smith, lead scouting and recruiting analyst for TDA, self-scouted Terrion Arnold, safety. So could you put Arnold at safety, free safety, replace DeMarco Helms, bring Helms down more into the box, and then have Brian Branch, Malachi Moore continue to work in that star position interchangeably. You could have Kool-Aid and Eli Ricks as your two corners. I mean, you got to get Ricks on the field. He's 6'2", 6'3". He was recruited for a reason. He came into the transfer portal for a reason. You didn't bring this guy in to sit the bench. You did not bring this guy in to sit the bench. And Saban has always been one to say, we have to get our best athletes on the field. Well, Coach Saban, this is one of your best athletes. You got to get him on the field. This is one of your best athletes that's going to help your secondary. Get this brother on the field, or are you really playing your best athlete? So there it is right there. Got to have Eli Ricks out there in some way, shape, or form in this first-team defense. You got to have Eli Ricks out there on the field. I'm just saying. But can Alabama's defense right the ship? I think it can, but it starts with everybody having their mind right this week against Mississippi State. As always, Bama fans, you want the best in news, notes, information, coverage, material on your favorite program, that being the Crimson Tide. You can get this by accessing the Touchdown Alabama magazine app. You can download the app from the iPhone App Store, the Rockin' Team Apple, Google Play Store if you got the Android phone. For your audio needs, check us out. iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn Radio, Overcast.fm, or iHeartRadio. We got you covered there. If the good and gracious Lord sees fit, I will be back, try to be back, on Friday, continuing the conversation that is Bama football. Remember, Tide fans, you can purchase individual copies of Touchdown Alabama magazine. Have those sent to your door. That link found in the description. If you're trying to get the fresh edition, print edition of TDA the magazine, you go to touchdownalabama.com. You click join, become a member or a subscriber today. That link in the description. If you're trying to get your hands on that four-finger bling necklace, four-finger bling jewelry, courtesy of our guys that we own, thefourthquarter.com. That link in the description too. Gotta shout out you guys, the incredible fans of Bama football, for all the donations, all the likes, all the conversation, the dialogue, the love. You making this your method of getting your Alabama football news. Do not take that lightly whatsoever. Gotta appreciate my man John Iver in the production studio, handling his thing from behind the scenes there. And till next time, folks, husbands, love your wives. Wives appreciate, value those husbands. Children, you guys continue doing the right thing, fun thing, smart thing, good thing, legitimate thing. To not be bored and getting that homework done right there. Be sure to get you those 3 hearty meals a day, those 3 great laughs a day. Start bundling up. The weather is changing. We're in fall now. Getting closer to winter as we speak. But as always, folks, continue to protect yourself, protect the loved ones around you. Till next time, I'm your man, Stephen M. Smith. You've been listening to In My Own Words.